But first, let us look at the highlights.
KPLC begins a lifestyle audit on its staff as it moves to crack down on fraud.
The news headlines in association with
Abby, your 24/7 digital personal banker. Another digital innovation that gets things done. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Is the Kirinyaga governor Waiguru in trouble or a political witch hunt? Detectives come to a close on corruption allegations against her. KPLC begins a lifestyle audit on its staff as it moves to crack down on fraud linked to rogue employees. And in the international scene, security forces deployed on the streets of Khartoum as death toll in Sudan anti-coup protesters rise to 7.
Right, let me know where you're watching us from. Keep your SMSs coming and let me know what's trending at this hour wherever you are. Kirinyaga County Governor Anne Waiguru is under fire after detectives have come to a close end concerning corruption allegations at the county government. EACC has concluded investigations into the planning payment of millions of shillings for a land survey tender and payments of questionable allowances to the governor and county officials. Sammy takes us through the details.
Kirinyaga governor was making her political shift to UDA. Detectives were coming to a closure concerning corruption allegations at the county government. If at all proven guilty, Waiguru will be charged alongside the county chief finance officer Mugo Ndathi, leader of majority James Murango, Kirinyaga County Assembly Speaker Anthony Gatumba, and the chairman of the budget committee at the county assembly David Madenge. Waiguru has previously accused the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and the Director of Criminal Investigations DCI of engaging in selective prosecution, targeting the deputy president's allies due to their political affiliations. The two agencies dismissed the accusations, saying the EACC is an independent institution not bound by individual, personal wishes and desires. An authoritative report has established that the Anti-Corruption Commission has concluded on investigations into the planning payment of millions of shillings for a land survey tender by the Kirinyaga County government and payment of questionable allowances to the governor and county officials. They commended the arrest and prosecution of Waiguru alongside Ndathi, Murango, Gatumbi and Madenge for their role in the alleged scandal. They are expected to answer to charges of conspiracy, abuse of office, false accounting, forgery and deception. According to the reports, EACC have a tight case against the governor and the mentioned county officials, and the agency is planning to hand over the files to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution anytime next week. EACC spokesperson Yasin Amaro said, and I quote, "We as the EACC shall proceed with the due process of the law as we investigate the matter as required by our mandate and forward the complete files to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution anytime." End of quote. In one of the cases, EACC detectives have accused the governor for planning to make an irregular payment of 52.8 billion Kenya shillings to a land survey company for the subdivision of New South Ngariama scheme in the year 2006. According to EACC, the company by the name Geo Acres Survey Limited, which was to receive the payment, did not have a contractual agreement with the county government. Further details reveal that at the time the company is reported to have won the tender, which was to be at 4,500 per acre, the company was not registered by the Land Survey Board. EACC further argues that the scheduled payment of 52.8 million Kenya shillings was an exaggeration and the tender was worth 20.4 million Kenya shillings. The commission has also concluded investigations into allegation of impropriety in the payment of travel imprests running into millions of shillings. EACC recommended that the governor and other officials facing the accusations to refund the cash they received illegally or face abuse of office charges. The anti-graft agency says Waiguru received 10 million Kenya shillings as travel imprests for non-existent trips. Waiguru is reported to have traveled to the US, France, UK, Morocco, Germany, India and Abu Dhabi, trips which the EACC says never took place. Yet 20.9 million Kenya shillings was pocketed as allowances. Only about 12 million Kenya shillings of the amount was accounted for according to the detectives. In the purported trips, EACC says there were no letters of invitation and the purpose of the trips were unknown. There were no also back to office reports. The issue of the trip was part of the trip labelled against the governor by the county MCS during the successful impeachment motion filed at the county assembly last year. Samia Dika, Lookup TV, Nairobi.
Now, moving forward, the ODM party leader Raila Odinga is in Dubai for a UAE conference with high-level officials and ministers in the infrastructure, energy, transport and water sector. Raila will appraise the second phase of the conference in his capacity as the African Union High Representative for the Infrastructure Development. Odinga is expected to return to the country next week. Now, the Kenya Power has begun a lifestyle audit of its staff as it moves to crack down on fraud linked to some rogue employees. The first phase of the exercise will cover the executive team at the Kenya Power and later extend to the rest of the firm's more than 10,000 workers. David Kasembeli has more on the report.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission (EACC) is expected to assist with verifying the wealth held by each of the employees, which the audit said to include the main contractors doing business with the power utility. On Tuesday, Kenya Power Acting Managing Director Rosemary Odwor held an online meeting with staff and assured them of fairness in the process that targets weeding out rogue employees involved in the financial impropriety. The Kenya Electrical Trades and Allied Workers Union KETAU, which represents Kenya Power workers, confirmed consignment of lifestyle audit and urged for impartiality. KETAU Secretary General Ernest Nadome said that they fully support the lifestyle audit and urge the management to remain fair as it promised, and everyone should be open to scrutiny. The ongoing audit is part of the recommendation of a task force appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta to look into the woes that saw the utility firm post a net loss of 2.98 billion Kenyan shillings in the financial year that ended June 2020, which is the first in 17 years despite the huge potential for profitability. The task force recommended that all Kenya Power employees be vetted afresh for integrity, suitability and qualification for the jobs they hold. The task force say that they should use wealth declarations to verify unexplained wealth, and this should be initiated through the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to secure assurance of this value ideal, adding that the firm should introduce a shift system to rationalize its staff numbers. The task force, which is chaired by Industrial and Commercial Development Corporation ICDC boss John Ngumi, has also recommended an overhaul of the procurement department. The state-backed utility firm has been in the spotlight amid financial hemorrhage largely linked to the procurement scandals. A preliminary audit report shows that Kenya Power held about 9.8 billion Kenyan shillings in debt stock, pointing to the electricity supply's messy procurement programs. Energy Principal Secretary Gordon Kihalangwa on Monday said that an inventory revealed piles of idle stocks at the utility firm, including power transformers. The dead stock includes items such as cables, meters and transformers that have been sitting in the warehouses for more than 5 years. The Ngumi-headed task force recommended a forensic audit of the power firm's current procurement systems and stocks to help deal with the cartels that have over the years profited through a fraudulent dealings with the rogue employees. Kenya Power is also on the spot over the suspect power purchase deals with the independent producers that have exposed the company to paying capacity charges even when their plants are idle. The Interministerial Committee is currently conducting a fresh audit of the Kenya Power's supply and demand needs and pricing policies. Its membership draws from, among others, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the Central Bank of Kenya's Finance Reporting Center, and the Assets Recovery Agency. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i earlier this month said that the electricity supplier had been declared a special project and that the team would also oversee reforms of the utility firm. David Kasembeli, Lookup TV, Nairobi.
A detailed report right there. Now, moving on to matters security. All police posts and patrol bases with less than 6 officers are to be closed and the officers redeployed to their mother stations. This is according to the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Edward Mbugua. Celine gives us more on the report.
Deputy Inspector General of the Kenya Police Service, Edward Mugua, has ordered the closure of police posts with less than 6 officers. The Deputy Inspector stated that such police officers were unable to provide to the members of the public as expected. Officers in this post have been ordered to redeploy to their mother stations. The directive came after unknown people raided an armory of Kirimon police post in Samburu Central at around 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday, broke into armory and stole 2 G3 rifles, 2 magazines loaded with 40 bullets. Also, the National Police Service Commission Vice Chairman Alice Otwala, during a medical assessment of police conference in Nyeri County, said that at least 800 police officers have been declared unfit to serve under the National Police Service because of health and psychological reasons. According to Otwalo, the police officers will be assigned different responsibilities to ensure they still assist in maintaining law and order in the country. Many of those unfit police officers are either unwell and injured in bandit attacks, hence losing their limbs or eyesight. According to Otwalo, the commission has 59 councillors who will be deployed in the 47 counties to ensure police officers with mental problems are supported before it is too late. Police officers have lately been in the spot due to cases of brutal killing of their colleagues and members of the public, and some have even committed suicide. Selling Nyangere, Look Up TV in Nairobi.
Now let's look at what's happening in the transport sector, where the Kenya Railway Corporation has announced the reduction of fares by 40% on the railway link that runs from the city centre to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The move by KRC seeks to bring more travellers on board. Our reporter Brenda Mashumbe has more on the details.
The Kenya Railways Corporation has reduced fares by up to 40% on the railway link that runs from the city centre to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport as it seeks to bring more travellers on board. Travellers will now pay 150 shillings for a ticket from the previous 250 shillings. After the launch of the railway link last year, December, travellers had to pay as high as 500 shillings for a single trip. Passengers are usually dropped at the Embakasi railway station, from where a bus rapid transit picks them and ferries them to the JKIA. The transit operates throughout the day, with passengers paying 100 shillings for the train and another 50 shillings to use the buses to connect between the two destinations on a one-way trip. Experts in the transport sector say that 150 shilling train ride is cheaper and faster compared to the costly services that taxi operators charge on the road to connect between the city centre and JKIA. The corporation is cutting passenger fare on the railway link that runs from the city centre to the JKIA barely a few months after it received the second batch of trains from Spain in a 1 billion shilling plan to decongest road traffic. Mashumbe Brenda, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
And that story takes us to a commercial break. Keep SMSs coming. Let me know what's trending at this hour wherever you are. But still, we still have so much lined up for you. Don't go too far.
To grow your business, broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries, then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700 893 542
or email us on sales@look-up.tv.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile and having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is having everything that you love in one place. From the ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. And keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Please make those payments and take dinner out the freezer. Enjoy your day off. How was your day?
Great.
Did you pay the bills?
Abby did it.
And the plumber?
Abby did it.
Send money to your mom?
Abby did it.
Who's Abby?
Bank on WhatsApp with Abby, your 24/7 digital personal banker. Another digital innovation that gets things done. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Did you take dinner out the freezer?
Nairobi, are you ready? October is Dyslexia Awareness Month and the whole world will go red for dyslexia. Join us on 28th of October. Wear the red outfit as we light up the UAP on Mucho Red for dyslexia.
Where will you be watching the glow from? Does your child write B instead of D? Is your child phobic to the red pen due to the numerous X wrongs they get from teachers' marking pen? Do they refer to your child as a slow learner? Your child is simply dyslexic. To be part of the sponsor and for more information about dyslexia, kindly contact 0722 380 952. Let's go red for dyslexia.
God is spirit and man is spirit. So man has also been created in the image and likeness of God.
God is light, and in him there is no darkness.
Man, from Adam, all of us were born in the nature of sin, and that is where Christ comes in.
There are things God cannot do because of his character. And because we don't know him, we have attributed all these things to him. Because we don't know him and we don't know the devil.
Do we really know God? Do we really understand the God we serve?
The fullness of God is in Christ bodily. The body of Christ contains the fullness of God.
Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Look Up TV movement now. Now.
Welcome back, and always thank you, and thank you for always taking your time to watch Look Up TV. I'm having some of your SMSs streaming in, and I'm having David Kasimbeli saying, following the sagas in KPLC, all officers should be vetted. Watching live from Lavington, thank you so much for tuning in. And as I said, we still have much lined up for you. The Deputy President, William Ruto, has today met leaders in Makueni County. Ruto, who thanked residents for the 7% votes Jubilee garnered in 2017, boasted many development projects that the government has facilitated in the region. Nancy Nelima with more on that story.
Speaking to residents at Mukuyuni Kaiti constituency in Makueni County, Deputy President William Ruto boosted the contribution of the Jubilee government to development projects in Makueni.
Na kwa sababu ya kura zenu na imani mulitupatia ili tuweze kuendesha serikali ya Kenya. Katika ushirikiano huo tumefanya mambo na watu wa kaunti hii yenu ya Makueni. Nimekuja hapa mara nyingi kwa shughuli hasa ya miradi na mipango ya maendeleo.
Ruto further lauded the government for road construction projects from Kibwezi, Kikima and Sultan Hamud, among other road projects.
nimekuja pale Kibwezi. Wakati tulikuja kuanzisha barabara ya kutoka Kibwezi kwenda Kitui mpaka Mwingi. Hiyo barabara mimi ninajua ilingojewa na watu wa Ukambani kwa miaka nyingi. Lakini sasa mimi ninafurahi kwamba hiyo barabara tumejenga karibu kilomita 130 tayari imekamilika. Sasa tumefika karibu Migwani kule tukielekea Mwingi. Nilikuja hapa pia tukaanzisha barabara ya kutoka Nunguni kwenda Kee mpaka Katua. Hiyo barabara almost 60% inaendelea kujengwa.
The DP further applauded the government for the rural electrification project that has managed to provide electricity from 14,000 houses to 80,000 households.
Tumeunganisha stima katika sehemu hii yenu. 2013 wakati tumepata nafasi ya uongozi, watu walikuwa na stima walikuwa watu 14,000, 14,000 kwa Makueni mzima. Lakini leo tumefikisha watu 85,000 tumeunganishia stima katika kaunti hii.
And in the education sector, Ruto spoke of technical schools that the government has built in different constituencies.
Pia kwa sababu tunajaribu kubadilisha mfumo wa elimu. Pale nyuma elimu iliegemea sana mambo ambayo sio technical training. Tukapindua, tukasema we must increase our training on competence based learning, mambo ya ufundi, mambo ya teknolojia, taaluma zile zingine zote. Na sababu hiyo tumejenga technical training colleges 2 hapa Makueni, pale Mboni na Kibwezi West.
He further added that upon completion, the Thwake Dam, which will serve Makueni and Kitui residents, will provide water for up to 500,000 people.
Juzi, muliona, I came also here in 2016. Wakati tulikuwa tunafanya compensation ya mambo ya shamba ya pale tunajenga dam ya Thwake. Leo hiyo dam inaendelea kujengwa, awamu ya kwanza yenye itagharimu karibu bilioni 35 is almost 60%. Alafu awamu ya pili itafanya hiyo dam kuwa the largest dam ever built in Kenya. Hiyo ya Thwake. Na tunalenga kufikisha maji kwa watu zaidi ya 500,000 kwa kupitia hiyo dam. Watu wa Makueni hapa, watu wa Kitui na watu wa Machakos. Kwa sababu hiyo maji itaenda mpaka pale Konza.
Ruto also championed his bid for presidency come the 2022 general elections and appealed for the right environment and financial systems for businesses to thrive, further promoting the bottom-up economy model. Nancy Nelima, Look Up TV.
Moving on to health matters, the Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says his ministry is going to make serious reforms in the National Health Insurance Fund to optimize its service delivery to Kenyans. The Health CS has blamed unscrupulous hospitals and health practitioners for charging extremely high health care prices, saying the trend is hurting the pockets of the health fund.
Kagwe says many private hospitals and other healthcare service providers have been abusing the National Health Insurance Fund (NHIF) in order to make large profits from Kenyans. Kagwe says these practitioners have been skimming off the top by charging unfairly high healthcare prices to their registered patients so as to get maximum income from a few patients as possible, which in turn hurts the fund's ability to pay for its members' hospital bills. Kagwe has urged healthcare providers to embrace better pricing strategies, such as the volume pricing scheme, which means hospitals and healthcare clinics embrace a model where they lower their prices so as to attract more patients and therefore make bigger profits from the sheer numbers.
And the issue is, if we manage to bring down the cost of these services, it is going to be paid fully by NHIF.
In addition, The Health CS says the ministry plans to regulate how private and public healthcare providers price their services, and he hopes that they will cooperate with the ministry in bringing down the inflated costs of good health in the country.
The quality of service that we provide must be at the highest standard possible, equal to anywhere on earth. If you do that, it will be possible. And if that happens, you will benefit. You will benefit.
He says if the sector cooperates in regulating the industry through lowering the prices and offering quality healthcare, Kenya has a shot of becoming a global healthcare tourism destination.
Secondly, is the cost of service. And in the cost of service, I have set forth a formula that our cost of healthcare must be equal to or less than India.
Finally, Kagwe says the new biometric registration system will eliminate all possible foul play in the payment and claim system used by healthcare providers to charge the fund for the patients treated.
The purpose of the institution is not just to pay for you and then leave you to sell your cow so that you can meet the difference. The purpose is to pay completely. When you say affordable healthcare, it means you don't go back to your pocket if you have got a national health insurance fund.
Waris Kimathi, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
Now, the France Minister Delegate for Foreign Trade and Economic Attraction, Frank Riester, is in Kenya for a two-day official visit to discuss trade and economic ties between Kenya and France. The visit will include talks with President Uhuru Kenyatta, Trade and Industrialization Cabinet Secretary Betty Maina, and Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukuri Yatani.
The official visit by President Macron's Special Envoy and Minister Delegate Frank Riester follows President Uhuru Kenyatta's visit to Paris, where he attended BPI France Investment Forum. During the investment forum in the French capital, President Kenyatta presented 3 areas in the Kenyan economy that offer real opportunities for French investors. The 3 are technology sector, particularly mobile technology, manufacturing and infrastructure, with the French President Emmanuel Macron committing to strengthen economic ties between France and Kenya. The French delegation to Kenya for trade and investment talks include over 40 business leaders representing French companies, and they'll be exploring new economic and investment frontiers in the Kenyan economy. The companies who are represented in Kenya will target various areas such as clean energy, health, ICT, space exploration, infrastructure, among other areas. The government in Paris has of recently launched an economic and diplomatic offensive in the East African region, with officials in the Ministry of Foreign Trade visiting Rwanda and Uganda earlier this week. In an interview with one Kenyan newspaper, French Foreign Trade Minister Frank Riester remarked on the relationship his country and the East African region, adding that companies from the region should be encouraged to invest in France in order to access the European Union market. Locally, Kenya has recently benefited from over 600,000 doses of COVID-19 donated by Paris through the international program COVAX, with Nairobi also receiving hospital equipment worth 60 million euros. Indakwa Were, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
Now, a 4-day sports film festival has begun today with exclusive screening of over 40 sports films from across the world. Dubbed Kenya International Sports Film Festival, film and sports enthusiasts across the world have access to top films that are playing on the festival's Facebook and YouTube pages today through Sunday. Calvin Kodalo with that report.
Have Kenya got anything left in the tank? They played so well.
The 4th edition of the Kenya International Film Festival, KISFF, has started today and will continue until Sunday, the 31st of this month. For the second straight year, the festival is being held online on the KISFF pages on YouTube and Facebook. According to the organizers of the festival, 1,400 films from across the world were submitted to the festival by filmmakers from 104 countries.
We have had entries from nations as diverse as the Ukraine, Russia, Iran, Tajikistan, Comoros, and of course our very own beloved Kenya, whereby we had the first film actually today was Angels on Wheels, based on Lady Bikers, and that was by Peterson Mushemi from Kenya Film School. And last year we had entries like Blindfold, which is it was actually from is a movie about an MMA fighter who lost a fiancée during the war. Then we had movies such as Lost, which is one on a fine evening when two kids were returning to their homes after playing in the park. Then we also had movies such as COVID-19 Kaiju, which had COVID-19 as a virus in a monster shape, starting to hunt people in streets during the time of COVID. Then we had a movie called Talisman. This year we have a very diverse selection. We had about 1,410 entries. And what has happened is over the years, the sports film entries from countries like Kenya have begun to grow as people see the value in these things.
The organizers also say that all submissions were inspected by a jury of experienced local and international selectors led by longtime Kenyan thespian and journalist John Sibiokumu. During the 4-day event, over 40 films will be screened. In addition, the festival features panel discussions on various topics related to local and international sports. Founded by Kenyan sports legend Asif Karim, the Kenya International Sports Film Festival also has the aim of documenting the achievements of athletes who have represented Kenya in various sports. Calvin Kodalo, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
We cross borders. U.S. government agency has delayed the disbursement of approximately 54 billion shillings to finance the entry of Safaricom-led consortium into the Ethiopian telecom market. This is due to citing uncertainty over the ongoing unrest in the country's Tigray region. Muguru Kimani has this and more on International Report.
The United States government's agency has delayed the disbursement of $500 million, which is approximately 54 Kenyan billion shillings, loan to finance the entry of Safaricom-led consortium into the Ethiopian telecommunication market, citing uncertainty over the ongoing unrest in the country's Tigray region. The United States International Development Finance Corporation, DFC, said it was still weighing the escalation of armed conflict in the Horn of Africa nation before it could release the loan. The financing had earlier been thrown into doubt after the U.S. state financer threatened to recall the loan following allegations of acts of violence against civilians in Tigray. The United States agency said DFC is working closely with its partners agencies in the U.S. government to monitor the situation in Tigray and will carefully consider its impact on any potential financing of the Vodafone consortium. U.S. Secretary of the State Antony Blinken, who is the DFC board of chair, has said the current environment in Ethiopia is marked by credible reports of armed forces committing acts of violence against civilians, including gender-based violence and other human rights abuses and atrocities. DFC said the Secretary of the State has made a legal determination that the government of Ethiopia has engaged in a pattern of gross violation of human rights, and the U.S. president has issued an executive order imposing sanctions on persons with respect to the humanitarian and human rights crisis in Ethiopia. The deepening of conflict in Ethiopia could force DFC to pause the investment and push the telecommunication companies to source cash elsewhere and at great cost. The Safaricom consortium had agreed to take the 54 billion loan from DFC to help with acquisitions and development costs. Elsewhere, World Bank suspends aid after military takeover in Sudan coup. The World Bank has suspended its aid to Sudan after the military staged a coup against the civilian government. Political leaders were arrested on Monday, sparking nationwide protest and international condemnation. The African Union has also suspended Sudan from the bloc over the unconstitutional seizure of power. And also the United States has frozen $700 million in aid. Sudan's civilian and military leaders had been in fragile power-sharing agreement for the past 2 years. The sudden cut of aid is likely to have dire consequences for the Sudan's battered economy. At a time where it's just starting to get back to its feet, the World Bank and AU moves put further pressure on coup leader General Abdel Fattah Burhan to reinstate the civilian government. The president of the World Bank, David Malpass, said in a statement that he's greatly concerned by recent events in Sudan and he fears the dramatic impact this can have on the country's social and economical recovery and development. The World Bank has contributed $300 billion in aid to Sudan to support agriculture, transport, healthcare, and education, among other things, according to Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok.
The AU tweeted that it welcomed the release of the Prime Minister, who was detained on Monday. Sudan will remain suspended from its activities until the civilian government is reinstated. Meanwhile, street protests have gone on for a third day, with at least 10 people killed after soldiers opened fire on crowds. Troops are reported to have been going house to house in Khartoum, arresting local protest organizers. The agreement between civilian and military leaders was signed in 2019 after long-term ruler Omar al-Bashir was overthrown. The power sharing was designed to steer Sudan towards democracy but has proven fragile, with a number of previous coup attempts, the last just over a month ago. Lastly, the world requires $5 trillion by 2030 to fight climate crisis. Researchers found that climate finance must increase eightfold to meet the required funding to slow down a rise in global temperature. Climate finance needs to rise sharply to $5 trillion a year globally by 2030 to fund measures to fight the climate crisis. Researchers have warned that transformation across economies is too slow to meet international temperature goals, from transport to agriculture and electricity. They say progress is lagging in all sectors and reducing planet heating emissions at the pace required to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius and to avoid its worst effects, which is a study by 5 green groups found. The study called for a significant ramping of investment to fight the climate change, especially for developing countries globally. It said finances must rise eightfold to meet the estimated $5 trillion needed annually for climate action by 2030, or an average increase of $436 billion a year this decade. Sophie Boehm, one of the authors, said, although there are some encouraging signs of progress in a few sectors, overall global climate mitigation efforts are still falling woefully short. The climate scientist added it's imperative to support these developing countries with the financial and technological resources they need in order to equitably address climate change on a global scale. Kelly Levin, one of the authors, said the study should serve as a wake-up call that action must be taken before it's too late. And the science chief at the multi-billion-dollar Bezos Earth Fund, started by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Magoro Kimani, Lookup TV, Nairobi.
Thank you for staying tuned throughout this bulletin. We have come to the end, but just before I wrap up this bulletin, training at number 1 is Highway High School, where Oscar Sudi claims to have studied. Having that politicians are expected to at least have a degree before they pursue any political position in the country. Oscar Sudi's documents, academic documents, are being considered a fraud. And I just look at some of the opinions on Twitter, and I'm having someone saying, second witness on Oscar Sudi's court case, he was a cook at Highway High School. Then there is Tanga Tanga is a den of criminals. Class 2 dropout Oscar Sudi forgot KCPE and KCSE and diploma certificate. He claimed to have sat for KCSE in the year 2006 at Highway High School and done diploma in business management. It's now clear that Highway High School was not in existence. That's just among some of the stories trending right now. And always stay tuned on Lookup TV. We still have more news coming at 7 p.m. But until next time, goodbye.
Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Lookup TV movement now. We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through 0700 893 542 or send us an email to views@look-up.tv. We can't wait to hear from you. Want to grow your business? Broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries, then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700 893 542
or email us on sales@luke-up.tv.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile and having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is having everything that you love in one place. From the ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. And keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Did you know the world's top icons and legends who have made history are dyslexic? Dyslexia is a learning disorder that is characterized by difficulty in reading due to problems with identifying speech sounds and learning how they relate to letters and words. Dyslexia affects areas of the brain that process language. Symptoms include delayed speech, learning new words slowly, and a delay